What a day to be alive, ladies and gentlemen. Birds are singing in the trees, the children are social distancing. I still can't see where I'm going thanks to the mysterious mist that keeps clouding my vision whenever I buy the little rat her dinner. There's probably a badger in the woods somewhere. I mean, that's nice. When was the last time you thought of a badger? Probably after 2008, or you have a friend of a specific persona. When was the last time you saw a badger persona? And because going outside is still dangerous enough to be dubbed the Great Granny Apocalypse, I've been indulging in one of my favourite pastimes, anime. Ugh. Now before I move on, like I'm sure half of my viewers have, I need to address the elephant in the room, and that's Bravely Default Part 2. It's still happening, don't worry. I just want to fill the dead air with some easy to digest content that'll hopefully make you giggle and give you some stuff to watch to fill the ever-consuming void. Part 2 is a bit of a Goliath, so please remain patient as I chip away at it. To give you a few examples of shows I've been checking out, I've been rewatching One Piece all the way from the start, which has been a thoroughly nostalgic experience and really isn't as hard as people keep saying it is, especially if you enjoy the bloody show. Go through it using the Goog to tell you which are the filler episodes. Be sure to skip the god-awful recaps and... who could that be? Well, this is quite the surprise. What evil nuggets of information do you have for us today?
There are unofficial fan-made cuts of the One Piece anime that shorten it drastically, so long as you know where to look, keeping it more in line with the manga's original pace.
No, Dark Clemps, that's naughty. That's very, very naughty. All being said, that's still quite a lot to do. Or you could read the manga, both are great. Sat through my current favourite shows, Asobi Asabase and Ore Monogatari, for what I think is the 5th time in the last year. My Roommate is a Cat was a heartwarming watch, but I think my biggest takeaway from it was the OP, which slaps so hard I think it leaves a mark. And how I'd probably like it more if the cat wasn't obsessed with food all the time. You hear that, Jess, you bastard? Finally, I've been watching Kaiji. If you're looking to watch men battle to the death with no fists thrown and feel like absolute shit for a day or two afterwards, but like a good kind of absolute shit, then go check it out. But none of these compare to the star of today's episode. An old gem which, dare I say, paved the way for a lot of modern anime. A perfect show to sit down and watch with friends over many, many, many drinks. You will laugh, you will cry, and maybe if you're lucky, you will squeal, as you all experience the cosmic wonder of Nyan Neko Sugar Girls. The completely unironic masterpiece that is definitely not ironic in the slightest, I swear. Created by the Japanese animation studio, Soap Opera, it would gain infamy by being one of the few shows out there that would never air on Japanese television. This was because the studio was under an evil curse, which meant any voice actor that entered the building would fall on their bum-bums, breaking their bum-bum bone. It's very tough to read your line when all that's coming out of your mouth is... And so, whispers of the curse spread throughout the nation. Careless whispers, and not the sexy kind. Soon, thanks to word of mouth and countless broken bum-bums, the studio went under. Or did it? You see, there was one rogue agent by the name of Soap Opera 46. No relation, of course. The artist, writer, and creative powerhouse behind Nyan Neko Sugar Girls. And she would take matters into her own hands. Noticing the studio's inevitable decline, she would put all of the episodes onto YouTube, and because she's definitely 100% Japanese, as evidenced here where you can clearly tell she's fluent, she would go onto the Japanese forums and hire voice actor, allowing the show to be viewed by the world for the first time. Some naysayers out there would claim that the show was created as a comedic parody of weeaboo culture and has gathered a healthy cult following ever since. Some falling in love with the show for its pretty accurate portrayal of forum speak from the mid-2000s and hell, even today to an extent. The comedy being extracted from the intentional cringe factor of either I know people like that or I used to be like that. Take a guess which one I fall into. And the little bursts of self-awareness that are used to balance all of, well, this.
I
I don't need this anymore. Lead this to be, at least in the opinion of people like the one on screen, a pitch-perfect parody of a specific brand of internet culture and the media they were influenced by, which could only ever exist on the internet. It's a perfect time capsule, and whilst not for everybody, is a good way to sit back and laugh at how we can be moulded by the media we consume. But to them I say no. This is art. Would you walk into the Tate Modern and laugh? Didn't think so. I know you're all a refined group of people and are able to sit back and take in a work of art with dignity and grace. Leave your clown suits at the door, please, sir or madam. It's time for some culture.
Do you want any snacks? I've got some here, it's fresh enough.
Nyan Neko Sugar Girls revolves around three main characters: Raku-chan, Koneko-chan, and Hitoshi-san. Alright, so this is gonna be character break 1 of 2. Now I know this is a bit weird, but I need to be completely crystal clear. I'm keeping the honorifics in. The honorifics stay on. The reason for that is in the Nyan Neko Sugar Girls community, you never see Raku-chan without the chan. You never see Koneko-chan without the chan. Calling her Raku, it's like sacrilege. You can't do it. And secondly, and this is actually important, if you are planning on watching this with friends, volume warning? Like major volume warning. I'm not just saying that either. I have tried so hard to make the audio bearable in this video, and you'll see what I mean. If you go and watch this, you will see what I mean. And then on with the show! Raku-chan is arguably the most important character in the story for reasons that will soon be apparent. A kind-hearted Neko who loves to indulge in the finest mochi ice cream with her best friend Koneko-chan. The more mature of the two girls with a laid-back and motherly demeanour that's almost as relaxing as the soothing green tea she loves to brew. Finally, there's Hitoshi-san, a devilishly handsome young man who the duo run into shortly into episode 1. It's safe to say that Raku-chan falls madly in love with this raw, untamed symbol of sex when he drops his signature catchphrase.
Nyaa. RAWR.
Is there a leak in my ceiling, or is that the untempered lust in my willy parts?
Would you turn this thing off?
Meow episode 1 is fairly simple. It lets us know who the characters are and how they interact around one another. It isn't until episode 2 where things naturally start to get a little bit serious. The episode starts off with Hitoshi-san waking up with a hankering for some breakfast. He handstands down the stairs where the nutritious meal awaits him.
Some nice pocky and ramen. My favorite.
However, before he can chow down, a mysterious figure bursts through his window, ready to kidnap Hitoshi-san for some fun. Meanwhile, at the kawaii underwear-chan store, Raku-chan and Koneko-chan are buying panties to cover their sinful front bottoms, and upon leaving, they hear a familiar voice.
Get me out of here! Give me a...
Oh, you sound like Hitoshi. Is he in trouble?
And so they run after the van, and my god do those Nekos run. Quicker than a graceful gazelle, swifter than the mighty cheetah, faster than my bowel movements after a cheeky morning coffee. Hitoshi-san does his best to stand up to his kidnapper, in a speech that is guaranteed to move your hearts.
I'm not even supposed to be here. You have no right to hold me captive. There's freedom in this country. This is America. Japan.
And just before the kidnapper can have his way with a surprisingly infatuated Hitoshi-san, the heroic Nekos are here to save the day, untying Hitoshi-san and putting a stop to the kidnapper's plans.
Arigato gozaimasu, you two. I'm very arigato-ful.
Another Hitoshi-san.
Thank you so much for your brave deed. I will never forget this moment we are having right now. Sayonara. Kawaii Neko girls. Nyaa. RAWR.
Episode 4 starts with the two Nekos waking up after a catnap. Raku-chan goes outside to play, and who should be there but a squirrel?
Oh my god, he's bone-itis!
The sweet Neko can't help but to hold it tight to her bosom. Yet unbeknownst to her, this squirrel is a bit of a cock and sinks its filthy rodent fangs deep into Raku-chan's arm. What follows is, dare I say, a siren song? Oh, I'm gonna be lost at sea, my friends. But don't fear for me, for I have heard perfection.
Yeah, walking to the store. La 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 la.
Bumping into Hitoshi-san, the duo go back home to visit Raku-chan to let her know he finds her downright sugoi. However, she appears to be a bit sick. Nothing a spot of green tea and dancing sushi can't fix, right? Yeah, everything's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine.
Are you sure about that?
Koneko-chan, being the kind-hearted friend she is, decides to take Raku-chan to the vet to make sure she's a-okay. I mean, after the last episode, it's better to be safe than sorry. Hitoshi-san joins them along the way, and they spend their time in the waiting room, marveling at all of the Neko-chans and Inu-kuns. Next, we get introduced to my favourite character in the show for one reason alone.
What seems to be the problem?
Need I say more?
I'm sorry to tell you this, Raku-chan, but you've been diagnosed with rabies.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
You can't keep getting away with this!
With the diagnosis of rabies fresh on the gang's mind and a personal searing hatred towards that cock of a squirrel, Raku-chan is reminded that she's never alone. She will always have her closest friends by her side.
You're not alone, and you'll never be alone. We're always here for you. You know that. You know that. You know that.
But are friends, mochi ice cream, and green tea enough to beat back such a disease? Despite it all, Raku-chan has her doubts.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Sure enough, it appears that mochi ice cream and green tea are, in fact, not enough to fight back the rabies, as she continues to get progressively worse, passing out to get some fresh air as her friends look hopelessly on.
I see you're awake now.
After putting the worsening Neko to her bed, Koneko-chan returns to check up on her, only to come face to face with a terrifying truth. Raku-chan, realizing she's too much of a burden on those close to her, runs away from home, with no real direction in mind.
Oh no, Raku-chan is gone. Gone with the wind.
In a panic, Koneko-chan calls up Hitoshi-san to help search for the missing Neko, a task he's all too happy to assist with. Stopping off at a 7-Eleven for a delicious strawberry slushie, they can't seem to locate Raku-chan anywhere. However, a man who Hitoshi is all too familiar with passes him by, but it appears he was seeing things, something which, at this point, has become a far too common occurrence.
That's it, just rub that in there. Oh, so attractive. And believe me, it tastes magnificent. Give your meat a good old rub.
Raku-chan, still lost in the woods, hears a voice from who she assumes to be Kami-sama. This voice tells her to unleash the beast inside of her, allowing her to learn the values of life and put them to good use.
Oh, these? My boobies? My massive fucking titties? My super stuffed milkies? My honga bonga doinky boinkies?
Koneko-chan and Hitoshi-san, meow soaking wet from the rain and downtrodden from the inability to find their missing friend, suddenly notice a lone Neko being attacked by a large horde of Inu. Koneko-chan, ever the hero, steps in to help.
Get away from that Neko, you no good Inus. Yes.
After the Inu are scared off, Hitoshi-san notices something familiar with the wet-ass P-word. And butter my buns, it turns out to be Raku-chan. Could this be a side effect of da rabes? If only time could just tell, and not take away. The two friends, not knowing how long they have left with Raku-chan, decide to spend as much time as they can with her. And it's at this point when Koneko-chan has a wonderful idea. The theme park. Oh, what a treat.
Why are we still here?
After they queue up to get their tickets and jump on the first ride they see, Raku-chan starts to feel better and they decide to enjoy the rest of their day together as friends. Wait, what? This episode also doubles up as a beach episode, and let me tell you, if you have low blood pressure, maybe stay away, because things get a little bit spicy.
Damn, boy, he's thick! Boy, that's a thick-ass boy!
Once they get home, Raku-chan notices she isn't feeling very well. Koneko-chan shrugs this off as an aftershock from the roller coasters, but I see it as blood loss from seeing Hitoshi's big fucking dong. She's given a nice, warm, soothing herbal cup of green tea, and they settle down for, and I quote, a kawaii sleepover. As they drift off to sleep, Raku-chan hopes it's nothing more than a sicky tummy, and that something more nefarious hasn't snuck its way back in. Episode 9 is, well, it's like a moist maker for the eyes. Koneko-chan awakens to find her dear friend has turned back into a Neko, and has completely forgotten who she is. And with no one else to turn to, she hurries with Hitoshi-san to the vet for yet another checkup. Reaching the vet, she notices a severe lack of Raku-chan, and upon seeing her new form for the first time, she says what we're all thinking. After a quick checkup, she drops a bombshell. Raku-chan has a bucking Neko inside of her. Yes, I just said that. Confused at how this simple vet can purge a demonic entity out from Raku-chan's already rabies-ridden body, the vet reveals twist number 2. She actually leads a double life as a shrine maiden. Bayonetta, eat your goddamn heart out. She puts a spell on Raku-chan that can hopefully keep the Neko demon at bay, Raku-chan transforming back when she gets home, delirious and confused at what keeps happening to her.
Dragon Quest XI's Echoes of an Elusive Age, Definitive Edition.
Episode 10 is the beginning of the end. You can feel the eyes of a world on this season finale, even Whitesnake wanting a piece of the pie. Way to jump on the Nyan wagon. Like, favorite, and subscribe, thank you, thank you. We start with Raku-chan having quite the fever dream, and rightfully so. As it turns out, the Neko demon hasn't been completely purged from her body. Hitoshi-san, meanwhile, is taking a somber stroll through the city streets. But from the corner of his eye, he notices an all too familiar man. He leaves a note before slinking into the darkness, Hitoshi-san desperately calling after him. But before he can follow up on the note, he spots a distressed Koneko-chan running at blinding fast speeds. Catching up with them, he breaks down the vet's locked door before a terrible realization dawns on them.
No. It's empty. Pinche cabron. It's empty. Nyaa.
Well, it is 3 a.m.
The vet finds the trio asleep in the waiting room, Hitoshi-san apologizing about the door. But have no fear.
Oh, don't worry about the door. I have door insurance.
She fights back the Neko demon with another spell, but she has no idea if it'll work. She insists that they spend what could be Raku-chan's final day together. And oh, the adventures they have. They even end up going to the festival-chan, something which Hitoshi-san seems not too pleased about. Finally, after a goddamn kawaii night, Hitoshi-san leaves to attend some business of the boy variety. Raku-chan seems disappointed to see him go, but they return home all the same, only to find out that one final surprise waits for them. Raku-chan and Koneko-chan's old college friends have decided to pay them a visit. The gang enjoy what could potentially be Raku-chan's final day on Earth, Koneko-chan ending the evening with some delicious ramen with a side of mochi ice cream, made just the way she likes it. Then she wakes up and is better, yay! So with Raku-chan meow healed from the dastardly Neko demon, she feels it's about time to let Hitoshi-san know how she feels. As you can see, Studio Soap Opera really splashed out on the animation budget for this one. It looks amazing.
Hitoshi-san. Aishiteru.
Oh. Raku-chan. Wait up, Hitoshi. Baby. Raku-chan. He and I are together now.
Oh, my kingdom hearts ruined.
Nyaa. RAWR.
At a loss for words, Raku-chan's heart shatters, her one true love being stolen away by this godforsaken hussy. Heartbroken and already weak from her previous illness, Raku-chan collapses into Koneko-chan's arms. Her kokoro is brokero. She musters the last of her remaining strength to leave some parting words to her dearest and most treasured friends.
Watashi so kimochi that I could spend last day with the two best tomodachis anyone could ever ask for. Sayonara, Koneko-chan and Hitoshi-san.
If there is a god, why is he so cruel? Why is he so mean?
Oh, I'm a guy. Thank you, whoever.
And well, that's that, really. The series ends with the vet telling us what we already know. Raku-chan died of a broken heart, and Hitoshi-san tries to fight back the pain by stating he's sure Raku-chan will join them for some more kawaii adventures in the future. But Koneko-chan and,
Oh, his name is Bokutachi-san.
thank you, can see he's merely in denial. No more kawaii adventures would release. Until 2 years later in 2015, when Soap Opera 46 would release an OVA, including Koneko-chan's Inu's sister, and basically serves as an obligatory pool episode. And after that, there was silence. The series would lay dormant, but respected, being brought up in circles or the odd Twitter thread, rekindling interest in this series through memes or the odd screen grab here or there. Then in 2020, something amazing happened. She uploaded another video, and confirms to us that Hitoshi-san was actually correct. Raku-chan did pull through, and has given us a little ray of hope. Could this be the prelude to a season 2? Only time will tell. Okay, character break time. I know I've been lacing this video with so much irony you'd assume it cut a major artery, but truth be told, this series is kind of great. It won't be for everybody, and I think looking at it from an outsider's perspective, you'd probably go, yeah, no shit. It's definitely an acquired taste. The audio being intentionally grating, but grating all the same. And you have to have some kind of past or experience with anime or the culture surrounding it to get any sort of meaningful experience from it. You can't show this to your boomer auntie and expect her to clap her hands like a toddler throughout. She'll probably take you out back to admire the sunset and reenact her favourite scene from Old Yeller. If anything, my favourite thing about this mini-series is how Soap Opera 46 clearly harbours no ill intent towards the thing she's parodying. It's a light-hearted poke at a community she was clearly a part of, and by the looks of it, still is. It does make me roll my eyes a little when I see people still unsure about whether or not this is ironic. When you can put things like the examples I'm about to show and still have people questioning the authenticity of it.
Come on, let's take her back to my humble abode.
Said she died of a broken kokoro.
Then I think irony really is just lost on some people.
I'm so damn confused.
It's here to give us all a good time, and considering the awful things that are happening in the world right now as I sit here and speak to you all, what better excuse to grab a few friends, some alcoholic drinks, and marathon this wonderful nightmare. Go subscribe to Soap Opera 46's channel and follow her DeviantArt if you want to keep up to date with her content. She deserves triple the amount of subscribers she has right now, especially after 10 years on the platform and creating such a great word-of-mouth series. With out-of-context clips still being posted to social media, I'd love to see people who are fascinated by them subscribe to the show's main base of operation. And so with that, it's time for me to get back to work on my story retrospective of Bravely Default. I pray it doesn't take too long, but hopefully this video will fill your Clemps quota for the month just fine. Go pledge to my Patreon if you want to help support me during this period. Some patrons I'd like to thank this month are Ray Zach, Cotton Mochi, Iksek, and Elizabeth Velez. I truly do appreciate your support, especially with projects that have the intimidating length of approximately an hour. You guys are the best. A special thanks as well go to Jelly Envy and Sylphie. Jelly recreating Raku-chan and Koneko-chan in her style, and Sylphie helping out with the logo, background, and of course, this delightful boy. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.
So stay at home, relax, and have some nice, hot, soothing herbal green tea. Nyaa.